Hey everyone, we are here with Latrice Leake, 50 Shades of Pink. I'm telling you, if you've not purchased this book, you are really missing something. This book is an absolute treat. Beautiful, gorgeous. So all you ladies that love pink and love heels, this is the book for you. So let's jump right on into it. Latrice, thank you so much for being here and for joining us for the rest of this month. I'm excited to
Yes,
have you.
I am so excited to be here, and I am so honored that you're my publisher for this book. This has been an incredible journey, and your work is amazing. So thank you.
Thank you very much. So we could jump right on into this book has been just, and if I can just show everybody, those that are able to see the video, this book has several authors in it. If you can see from the table of contents, we have so many stories. And I believe that's what inspired, I guess, your story, 50 Shades of Pink, A Healing Journey to Self-Love. This compilation has so many, as we call it, shades of pink, different journeys, different stories, different ladies. And I just like how you kind of put everything all together to tell one story in different parts. Different ladies have different journeys, but all together we form a story that many of that can relate to. So today's topic, flats or heels? Flats or heels? I love it. What's your choice? What do you prefer, flats or heels?
I like a good heel, but since I'm a mom chasing around a 4-year-old, sometimes I'll throw on a flat.
But see, that makes sense though, because many women, when we go shopping, will say, all right, these shoes are cute, these heels are cute, but let me get a pair of flats to match. It almost sometimes seems like it's both when you're either a mom or you're, business professional, or, I feel like we always had those flats as a sense of comfort.
Mhm.
What if I were to ask you what about heels is so attractive to you? What do you think why women choose heels or choose to purchase them? What do you
I
think?
think for me, okay, so let me just give you a little back history. So, as a woman who suffers with PCOS, if anyone doesn't know what that is, it's polycystic ovarian syndrome.
Mm,
And I remember watching this movie, and this girl, she was like struggling with her weight. And she was like, I just love my heels. And she had this beautiful closet with all these different shoes. And she said, someone said, why do you love, what's so important about the heels? And she said, because the heels always fit.
ah,
The heels, it doesn't matter what my weight is, because with the PCOS, we go up and down in our weight. It doesn't
mhm.
matter what the weight is, the heels always fit. And so I know for me, a lot of times, if I remember an outfit, it's always the shoes for me. And
Yeah.
so I think with a lot of women, we love shoes. I'm sorry, like I know people that collect shoes,
Mhm.
collect bags. And so yeah, it's the shoes for me.
It's the shoes. It's the shoes. In all honesty, when I'm planning an outfit, I usually plan them around my shoes. And I'm not. I don't know what the shirt's going to be. I don't know what the pants or skirt's going to be, but I know what the shoes are going to be. And
Yes,
I just have to say that this cover is so beautiful and it's so you. It's just so you. It's
thank
you.
you. It's
Every time
beautiful.
I've seen you connected with you, you've had on some stunning shoes. I don't care if they were heels or flats. When we were
Thank you.
serving the homeless, nice shoes. You don't play. So when we think of Latrice, we see shoes. So I think that the
Thank
title, the cover, even the metaphors throughout the book is so fitting. But I wanted to jump into the concept of a heel or a flat. And to me, when I think of a heel, like you said, it fits, it's stylish, it's cute. But when I think of a flat, I think of comfort, relaxation. After the day of heels, it's like, let me just unwind. So it makes me
you.
think about faith. When sometimes when we put on heels, it can come somewhat symbolize like God stretching, because you know how your foot's arched up. It makes me think of when God stretches us. And in this story, in this book, we see so many stories of faith. So many women who've gone through situations and challenges where their faith had to be stretched. So I just wanted to kind of get your take on that and kind of see how you can see, or what your thoughts are as it relates to heels and faith and just God stretching us throughout our journey.
Yes, well, as a faith walker myself, I definitely can attest to that. God has this incredible way of using faith to stretch us. I remember, like when I first started going to church on my own as an adult. And I remember I went up and one of the mothers was like, "What do you want me to pray for? What would you like prayer for?" And I was like, "I want more faith." And she was like, "Now, baby, if you praying for faith, you better get ready for some challenges to hit your life." And um, just like the shoes, the Lord allows those times where we are stretched,
Mm.
because the higher the heel, the more
Ooh.
the arch has to stretch.
Oh, that's good.
And there's some of us that the Lord is allowing us to walk in higher dimensions. And
Mm,
so I don't know about you, but when I put on a really high heel,
that's
there's
good.
a certain look. I mean, that little kitty cat heel could give you a look, but that high heel is going to have you like, okay, that is set. And so sometimes we want the look of the high heel, but we don't want to be
Mm,
stretched. And so, even in those seasons where he gives us that stretch and everything seems to be going haywire, your money's funny, your boyfriend acting crazy, your kids are acting wild, he also gives us the break after, and we can put on that flat. Because, when you go out, you out in your
yeah,
heel,
yeah.
okay? But when you leave the building, sometimes like you might lean on the side of the brick and put that flat on. And so, and God is so faithful like that. He will give us the opportunity to go into atmospheres and have that look, where it almost looks as if faith is not being tried. You ever see somebody going through something and it looks so easy, and the whole time they're falling apart on the
Mm,
inside, their stocking is running, it's being held together with nail polish. But to you, it looks amazing. To
it's polished.
you,
Hmm.
it's polished. To you, everything is set, but they are being stretched. And so as we even see our sisters going through seasons of being stretched, we can be reminded that yes, I may be being stretched in this season and it might look good to you, but God is going to give me a break, and I will be able to go into a place of rest, and I will have my opportunity to rest up before I have to put those heels back
It's
on
back
again and be
on.
stretched
Mhm.
again. So yeah.
Wow. That is an incredible breakdown, the way you explained that. And I love what you said about the higher the heel, the dimension. It's so
Mhm.
interesting how when God takes us higher, it feels uncomfortable sometimes. But guess what?
Mhm.
Your feet tend to adjust to that. And it's like,
Yes.
okay, I wouldn't say necessarily you comfortable, but you know how to deal with it. Because after a while, we all know nobody can wear heels 24 hours a day.
Girl, they got something. They say if you tape this toe to this toe, the heel won't hurt as much.
It's
So
gonna hurt.
yeah, it's gonna hurt.
It's something with time, because I mean, it may not hurt for the first
Yes,
hour or two, but you're gonna feel the pressure,
it's gonna hurt.
and it's just like that with God. Sometimes when we go through circumstances, I feel like sometimes in the beginning our faith is nice and strong, we get good.
Mhm.
Then over time
Mhm.
you're like, ugh, can I take these off, Lord? This is getting tight. I was good for the first year, but I've been in this for
Yeah,
a few years now. I've been in this for 5 years now. Okay, my faith is starting to my ankles, they kind of shake a little bit. My
a
ankles
little
getting weak.
wobbly. But think about this. Remember when you first got saved? Your faith
Mm,
was so big,
it was,
right? And it was
yeah.
almost like every prayer that you prayed was
Just
answered
yes,
immediately. It was like,
yes.
Lord, I didn't even quite get the prayer out, and the answer was already on its way to meet me. But it's like God, He has this wonderful way of like wooing us into a
Yes,
relationship with
I
Him,
love it.
causing us to trust. Yes, that childlike faith may require an immediate response, because He's saying, I want you to be able to come to me and know that I'm able to do it. And so when you become a bigger girl and those heels might get a little bit bigger, your prayer might not get answered right away, but
Wow.
know that the one that you are praying to, even if he doesn't answer, or even if he doesn't answer in the way that I want him to, he's
Good.
able to. Girl, if he could get this whole big old size, 14 and sometimes a 16, up on his little teeny heel, he
Right,
can do
right, right.
anything.
That's faith right there. Putting those heels on with them little baby heels,
Okay, if
them
that
long
baby
skinny
heel
heels.
can balance all this weight, God can do anything. Okay.
That is so good. And as we read through the book, you will see a whole lot of weight that God is able to handle on them little skinny heels, as we read the stories. And that's why
Yes.
I get so excited about this book, because when we think of shoes, we think of journey. We think of all the times we had to travel from this situation to this situation, but we don't always think about the faith it takes to get from one place to the next. And not even just traveling, it's the positioning, the posture that you're in as you're traveling through, because it's different if you have to walk by faith in flats. But if you walking by faith with heels, you being stretched and you got to have faith, so it's a whole
Yes.
different playing field with that one.
And so what some people don't realize is that for some women, there's some women out there that it takes faith to just lift your head up off the
Mm,
pillow.
mm,
It takes faith despite the statistics that are set against them, despite, the neighborhood that they grew up in, despite the abusive spouse, the abusive relationships, the toxic family, despite the humiliation or the public scandals that they've been through. It takes faith for some women to just get up in the morning to brush their teeth. It's some women laying in bed for days and days and days, and they've not been able to shower. And so for that woman, the faith walk, the big tall heel, might simply be her getting up and fixing food for her kids.
ooh,
And I remember watching this interview where this woman, like, they kind of heralded her this amazing mother, and one lady reached out to her and she said, I'm really failing as a mother. I'm going through a divorce, and some days all I can do is get my children some fast food at McDonald's, and some days I only have the strength to put on a movie and go in the bathroom and cry. And the woman broke down how powerful it was that despite her own pain, she made sure her children ate, even though it was McDonald's. Despite her pain, she didn't want her children seeing her crying. And so I think of that as so many of the women, even the women in the book, just the faith to get up and make things happen. And so I think if we don't compare ourselves, I think it's so easy as women, we're like, oh, her hair looks better than mine, or oh, she's skinnier than me, or oh, this, but not comparing ourselves, but understanding that one, Jesus Christ is the standard. He
ooh,
is the
yeah,
mark, the high mark, right?
yeah.
And so I can't look at you in your heels. I can't look at you in your walk and compare myself. But knowing that those women, even those that are struggling to wake up and make it happen, when you just choose to step into the day and walk out on faith, whatever that looks like, you are walking in your journey. And
Ooh,
that's what's important.
and that could be your high heel right there.
That's
That's
it.
good. That is so good. I wanna ask, what or why do you think, or even if you don't think, do you think it's necessary to have a pair of flats? Do you think it's necessary to have that comfort? Or do you think we should forever be elevated in that high heel? I know that's kind
I,
of a
I
tricky question, but
it is, but it's not. Okay, so I think it is. I think it is important to prepare because depending on the act or the type of activity, a heel ain't gonna cut it if I'm playing tennis. You could be Serena and Venus. You're gonna need a good pair of Nikes.
you know, they're
You're
nice
gonna need
and
some good Adidas. You're gonna need a sneaker, right? Because depending on the activity, climbing a mountain, I'm not gonna put a stiletto on to climb a
That's
mountain.
good. That's
And
good.
so I
That's
think
good.
sometimes we think the height equals the importance or the amount of faith,
That's
but
so good.
depending on my journey, that will determine. Oh God, I feel the
That's
Holy
that.
Ghost.
Woo, yeah,
That
right.
will determine what I need to put on my feet to make
That's
it
good.
happen. Come on,
That's
beautiful
good.
are the feet. You're gonna have some bunions if you climb in Mount Everest in a stiletto.
And God gonna be looking at you like,
Girl,
"What you get
get
those
down.
on?"
He gonna be looking like, girl, get down. Y'all don't know what you doing, child.
Well, get off that mountain in them heels. Your faith does not require heels today.
Your faith. Move the mountain then in that case.
Right, right. And it's also
Yeah.
holy to see. And it's amazing because it shows us that it don't have to be, I hope I don't say this incorrectly, but you know how people say like the size of the seed, oh, you want your seed to be so big, but it shows the seed itself, shows the potential. And the
Yeah.
crazy thing is that it's not even me, it's the environment
That's it.
Not even me, it's him. He's the one that's causing the seed to
Mhm.
have all this, the manifestation of his grace and his power. It's not even the seed itself. I'm just positioned to receive everything that he
Right.
has.
I don't move
So
the mountain.
exactly, I don't.
I put my faith in the one who can. And when
Exactly.
I put that little bit of faith
That
in that
little bit,
big, big God,
he
right?
does
The
it. Yep.
mountain moves because of where I've placed my faith. And so
Exactly.
that is why waking up in the morning,
Ooh, that's
that
good.
is why putting the key in the car, that is why going to that job where you're not appreciated, going to the job where you're not understood, going to that church where the clerk don't like you or the
Mm.
person that walks in and rolls their eyes. That is why you don't need a whole lot of faith. You just need that mustard seed, and God will move the people, the places, the things out of the way that
Yeah.
are hindering your movement. When you move in God, and when your assignment is tied to what God wants you to do, He will move heaven and earth so
Ooh.
that you can cross over. I
Yes, he
remember this
will.
story. Let me tell y'all, I'm an 80s baby. And I used to
Yes, me
love,
too.
listen, I used to love Never Ending Story. And there was a
Mm.
part in the movie where the little guy, Atreyu, I think his name was, he was trying to walk through this pathway. And every time he would walk in, these things would come at him and they would shoot things out their eyes and fireballs. And it was like he was able to cross through. If we could only see ourselves walking through dangerous territories and knowing that if I'm walking in God, nothing on the outside of me, I don't care what's aimed at me, what's shooting at me, who don't like me. When I'm walking in God, I am able to cross
Mm.
over
Mm.
and He will meet me at my end.
That is so
Yeah.
good. Latrice, I love, love, love chatting with you today. And I am so excited when we all come together on Thursday to discuss with some of the ladies, some of their stories and their journeys of faith. So please, everyone, join us on this Thursday when we have our Thursday book club discussions, and you'll get to meet some of the co-authors and they share some of their journeys. So I am incredibly excited. I'm incredibly blessed and honored to be able to connect with you and partner with you for this journey and this story to be revealed to many people. We look forward to you joining us throughout the rest of the month of July and meeting different ladies and hearing different stories and journeys of faith. And as we continue talking about these shoes and different shoes that the ladies have worn. Thank you so, so much for your time, Latrice. Really, really
Absolutely.
grateful for you. And we will see you next week, everyone.